Alrighty, we just watched Basket Case.
Classic.
And Eric and his friend were like, oh, gee, it's pretty terrible. And it wasn't bad at all. I've seen worse beyond Trilogy of Terror and a couple other films. You know, it wasn't horrible. It was kind of in the line of like Freak. That it was kind of a sad story about misbegotten people and their inability to assimilate into the Matrix.
Into mainstream society, whatever.
Yeah, the Matrix.
No, it was oddly compelling.
Yeah.
It's a very low budget film.
But it
is a very interesting story. And
nudity in its proper place, only for the storytelling.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Not gratuitous.
Yeah.
But
I feel for the guy, the whole kid, the whole person.
Yeah, the poor kid.
Yeah. Can't even get laid without his fucking lump of a brother fucking being a dick about it.
I mean, I remember it had been at least 40 years ago I saw this movie when it first came out. And I hadn't thought of it in years, and all of a sudden it just popped up somehow, and I was like, "Oh, dude, you've never seen Basket Case?
Well,
all right, you've got to see Basket Case."
I was driving to work, and they were talking on Bob and Tom about Frankenhooker, which is the next movie we're gonna watch.
Made by the same people.
It's made by the same people, and then I told Eric about it, and he's like, "Basket Case? Well, have you seen Basket Case?" And I go, "No," and oh my god.
Well, yeah, because that's what it was.
Yeah.
He asked me to look up Frankenhooker, and I did. And in the description it said, from the people who brought you Basket Case. I was like, oh, no way. Oh, okay, yeah, watching it.
Yeah.
And Tom's like, what's Basket Case? I was like, oh, shitting me, really? Okay, no, doing them both. We're going to do a double feature, Basket Case and Frankenhooker, man, because I saw it 40 years ago, and it left a lasting impact on me even then. And this is the first time I've seen it since, and I'd forgotten most of it, but...
And it's better than you remember?
It was.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, come on, I'm like 17, 18 years old. And seeing this movie in the typical, it showed up at the video store, and it was just a rental and B-movie like so many others, But This one, though, stood out. I mean, the dude carries his conjoined twin around in a basket, and they call it Basket Case. And and the story of the revenge against the doctors that had separated them. And it was very, very compelling. It wasn't just pointless and stupid. And it was a little psychological even,
Yeah.
And you did feel bad for the poor kid who had to carry his brother around in a basket and keep him hidden, and and he's dangerous and would kill you if you opened the basket and caught him in there.
Yeah.
And then he'd have to cover for it and all that, and they were specifically going after those doctors that had separated them. And that's how it started, was they went after the one doctor. And then they had to track down the other ones.
And then a girl got involved, and
then the guy, found himself a girlfriend, and the Basket Case got jealous.
What's his name?
What was his name?
Not Bernard, but
no.
Anyway, tell us in the comments his name. He's just he's a rotten little thing.
Yeah, and
then I also, it's interesting how many people have used this as a pastiche or a jumping point. The X-Files episode with the carnival.
Oh God, that one. Yeah,
and I'm sure there's
no,
Venture Brothers.
The X-Files with the inbred people.
Yeah, well,
that one.
Well, yeah, that one too. But this one was the circus. Remember the circus that they went to?
Yes.
Yeah, and it was something similar to this.
And the people in that episode were from a real circus.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were actual real circus performers and freaks.
But it's the same kind of story. And then I would even say that Venture Brothers took a note from this with Doc Venture's brother.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, this movie is a
New York classic.
It is a cult classic. There is no question. I mean, it's one of those that it has a distinction of being one of those that stands out among B-movie horror films, whatever. And it would not surprise me if a whole lot of filmmakers and creative people out there are familiar with it and even been influenced by it.
Yeah. So
we'll be back.
And we recommend
recommend Basket Case. If you haven't seen it, you got to see Basket Case. It's the same thing I told Tom, man. I said, you really... No, you got to see Basket Case.
And it's not a horrible...
And it's not Trilogy of Terror where I was like, you got to see Trilogy of Terror and suffer through it. No. You just got to see it.
See you in a minute. Alrighty, we just watched
the second feature of our double feature,
Frankin. Oh my God.
Brought to you by the people who brought you Basket Case. Same people. This was in 1990.
I really liked this film.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was going to be real trash. I mean, real garbage. Like, I thought the first one was going to be real garbage. And I thought Basket Case was going to be. But no, I really liked it. They had a bunch of actors that seemed familiar.
But weren't really the people that they seemed like.
Yeah.
But Louise Lasser was in it.
And who was that?
She was his mom.
I don't know. What's she from?
Yeah, the years have not been kind to Louise. Yeah.
What was she from?
Oh, God. You know what? Mary Hartman herself. Louise Lasser. So, yeah, it was just a little, almost like a walk-on, but...
pretty much.
It was their celebrity that they got to do it. But no, it was bizarre.
It was over the top. I loved it.
Well, it should have been, because...
And if there's a gal that's going to dress up like her, Frankenhooker, for Halloween, I think we'll just get married. Because you're in the right bandwidth. So,
So basically, this dude
invents a super lawnmower that reminded me of the Treehouse of Horror Freddy Krueger one, where it was Groundskeeper Willie.
Yeah, it almost looked like a friggin' farm equipment.
Yeah, not no fucking lawnmower.
And, remote controlled, so you didn't have to ride it,
or push it. That's what she said. She didn't have to push it. And of course she's standing right in front of it. And of course it's obvious what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's like,
So she gets run over by the lawnmower and...
her head disappears.
All that's left of her is her head, yeah.
And
the guy that she is engaged to just happens to be a mad scientist. I mean, he's got that brain...
With an eye.
With the eyeball embedded in it.
What's that?
At his future in-laws' place.
Yeah.
In the kitchen, sitting there messing with it with all these electrodes and probes and
then what does he do? Is he hits it with a hammer.
And everybody's acting like,
but of course
it's just so normal that he's doing this.
Yeah.
At the old man's birthday party.
But this is New Jersey. Aww.
It was just bizarre. And they never explained what that brain thing was.
No, that's the disappointing one. It was like...
I thought maybe that was what he was going to put inside the gal's head to something.
Yeah.
But no, they never explained it. They just featured
And from a scientific standpoint, so he's got all these hookers' body parts because basically the only thing left of his love was her head.
Right.
So they didn't do a Hillside Strangler thing with it, which thank God. But that's exactly what I started thinking. Yeah, look it up, kids. And so then, because he used body parts from all these, not hookers, women of the evening, unfortunate
working professionals.
Yes, independent businesswomen.
Yeah, and like 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah, so their body parts were infused with memories, and so that's why all she would do was repeat.
I guess, what would you call that, muscle memory?
Waka waka.
Wah, wah, wah. Well, these are the jokes, folks.
Well, at least there's
I'll
muscle.
be here till Thursday. Try the veal.
At least there's muscle. Oh no.
Yeah, right.
Oh wow. Enough said on that. Anyway, so that was kind of wonky, but I liked her look, the purple hair and the white face, and then
the stark white face, and then
as a contrast,
the really, purposefully
gross skin,
bad skin, because the condition of the parts that he used were.
And then the whole side plot of the super crack that makes people warm and then blow up, and then when she was with that poor little nebbish guy who was just in love with all of it, and that was the best part.
That was
when the head blew off, when his head blew off, and that's
little
great.
Pseudo Danny DeVito guy.
Yeah,
he was great.
Oh, that was great.
And because being electrically supercharged like she would come in contact with people and
zap them,
electrocute them, basically,
with her
blow them up
with her super kitty, I guess,
or just her fingertips or whatever was touching.
Well, because the
dude was up under the table, right?
Yeah. So it must be the super kitty.
It was just the contact, the direct
with her
contact.
Okay, all right, I'll buy that, even though I think it's the super kitty, but whatever.
Well, I'm sure that was probably a lot.
What was intentionalized, yeah.
But. And then in the oh my god,
Oh my! It was a great because you didn't see it coming.
The end was too much.
Yeah,
it
not
was,
going to spoil it, but it was epic. I was like, oh damn. Well, I didn't see that coming.
Right.
And I've seen everything, so...
Yeah, so that was, an unexpected...
surprise.
Twist right there.
Topsy-turvy, twisty-changey. Yeah, it was great.
This dude was a sicko, man.
Oh, yeah, and then he was drilling... drilling his head?
He had
what was
like a model brain...
Yeah.
with all these pins in it.
Yeah.
And they were all numbered. Like they were the different nodes in his brain.
Yeah.
And...
why would you...
he was keeping track of how many were actually still intact because he would drill into one of them and pierce it or whatever. Because remember what he said?
Yeah.
Goodbye, number 22. And he drilled into his brain and hit that number, that one that was labeled.
Yeah.
He had them all labeled with different numbers.
Still didn't make sense.
So it was a specific brain center he was shooting for. But, I mean...
what? Yeah.
And so he would kill that part of his brain, but the process of doing it opened up some new ideas for him or some shit. It was bizarre.
Yeah.
It was just so weird, man.
Maybe it's not bizarre. Maybe it's just something, we aren't aware of.
He was like tapping into these cortexes of his brain or some shit. And,
still weird. I would not advise.
Like he came up with this brilliant plan to use stewardesses. But then, oh no, that'll never work. So he...
oh, is that what it was, the airport? Okay.
Yeah, he was, we've got to get some stewardesses, and we're going to get to,
so he was,
the airport.
So he was being a misogynist to build his girlfriend back.
Come up with,
I know, I'm
female bodies.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, getting a bunch of hookers
I
from
gotta
New
drop
York.
misogyny every time we talk about anything.
Well, because it's there, isn't it?
Because you're a misogynist.
Oh, yes. That must be it.
It is. You're projecting.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Wow. I'm not the one talking. I'm just, because everybody says everything's misogyny all the time. Doesn't make sense, but hey.
No, it was just so weird, So he ends up getting a bunch of hookers.
Which,
I had the impression his plan was to pick one of them and use one body, but the super crack made them all explode. They all spontaneously combusted, and there are pieces of them everywhere. So he just mixed and matched all the pieces and parts. That
I think that was the contrivance of the movie.
Which
because
and for whatever reason, all their consciousness was transferred into
these body parts.
The finished product, and so the gal she didn't realize she wasn't, she goes out street walking.
And I like her expressions, like yeah.
Yeah, and she had the total monstrous expressions, and oh no, the gal played it really well. She was funny as hell.
Yeah.
And it is an entertaining film. A little slow paced at times, but it took its time getting to the monster. But
it was worth the wait. It wasn't. It wasn't a drag.
Right. And anyway, Basket Case and Frankenhooker.
Gotta watch them.
Good Saturday night double feature, man. Yeah, for sure.
All right, like, share, and subscribe.